Howdy, it's Kyle, going over the methodology and categories being used for my definitive ranking of the states videos. It's a three-part series of videos where I rank the states. Video 1 will be the states ranked 50 to 31, Video 2 will be the states ranked 30 to 11, and Video 3 will be the top 10 plus a post-countdown analysis of what the discoveries were from the countdown. So here's the spreadsheet of the categories I used for this ranking. I didn't want to settle on just a cute round number like 20, 25, or 30, so overall there are 26 categories I used. And because I believe that money and economics are the most important thing for most people, of the 26 categories, 13 of them are economic. Of the 26 categories, 20 of them are objective and 6 are subjective, my opinions on things. So fewer than 1/4 of the categories are subjective, and 2 of the 6 subjective ones really aren't that subjective. So I'll look at some of the specific categories here. GDP per capita and GDP growth rate, those are both pretty self-explanatory. With population growth rate, you might not think that number 1 is the best. You don't want to be growing too much, and that can be true, but you definitely don't want to be losing population or have a stagnant population either. And then I wanted to look at individual aspects of a state's economy, so the total number of major companies or Fortune 500 companies located in the state, as well as where the state stands on 3 very important aspects of the economy: agriculture, energy, and manufacturing. So those 7 are more about the state overall economy. I wanted to take a look at 6 other that are more personal economic stats. For median household income, certainly some states have higher wages than others, but often those states are more expensive, so I also wanted to include median house cost to possibly offset the high incomes. And I also wanted to look at the 3 major tax types: income tax, sales tax, and property tax. And for income tax, I used the tax rate at the median household income level for that state. And the final economic stat that I looked at was the poverty rate. And for poverty rate, I looked at the average between the standard poverty rate and the supplemental poverty rate. Both the standard and supplemental poverty rates have a bit of a flaw in how they're calculated, so I think the average of the 2 is pretty good. I also looked at 2 health indicators: cancer rate and life expectancy. It's really hard to judge general health care as a whole, but I think these are 2 pretty good proxies for the general level of health for a state. So just 2 health categories out of 26, but also 2 education categories. It's very difficult to rank the schools of states, but I think a high school diploma percentage is a pretty good proxy for how good the public schools are in your state. And I used professional degree percentage over general college degree because I wanted that to be a proxy for some of the high-tech type research going on, huge parts of the economy having to do with engineering and medical and aerospace. It's harder to quantify high tech as opposed to agriculture, energy, or manufacturing, but I do think it is a very important component of economies of states. And then I wanted to look at just kind of general other bad things. 2 of them are your statewide violent crime rate and your statewide property crime rate. These are 2 different things and are often indicative of 2 different problems in a state. A really high violent crime rate usually indicates a major gang problem or issues with drug business, and a large property crime rate is often associated with high poverty and drug addiction. And for another bad thing, I wanted to take a look at natural disasters for the state. Kind of like agriculture and energy and manufacturing, most of the other state rankings type things don't really count natural disasters, even though they are very important. And then we get to the 6 subjective categories. 3 are for cities in the state. 1 is just me simply ranking the state capital of the 50 states. The 2nd is ranking the largest city of the largest metro that's not the capital. And the 3rd would be ranking the largest city of the 2nd largest non-capital metro in the state. Now these are certainly subjective, but it's not really a stretch to say that Madison, Wisconsin is nicer than Trenton, New Jersey. 2 of the other ones that are, in my opinion, are summer climate and winter climate. And again, subjective, but to say that Hawaii has nicer winters than Minnesota isn't really a stretch. I think climate is a very important reason why people choose to move or choose to stay in a certain state. And the final subjective category is simply how pretty a state is. It's national and state parks, it's general scenery. And this is by far the most subjective of all the categories. It's a combination of both your median view, I guess you could say, but also how much of it is protected. I didn't want to give extra advantage to huge states for having just more pretty scenery, so that's why I was going by more median scenery. But with the 26 categories I used, I believe the rankings of the states in these videos are very comprehensive. And that's mainly what I wanted to do, a big ranking of the states that people like to see so much, but put a lot more into it, a lot more thought, a lot more comprehensive type research into it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up to let me know you approve, and check out the videos in this series. I want you to come back to this one as a reference, but do check out the actual rankings themselves. But yeah, Geography King, signing out.